I'm Margaret in Windsor, and my father's Edward VIII, who was never married to Wallace Simpson. She married a impostor, a double, and there were more than one doubles pretending to be my father. My father in 36, when he became king, was actually married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, a school teacher from Madison, Wisconsin, sister to artist Georgia O'Keefe. And he wouldn't follow. I'm giving this information leading into something else here. My father would not take orders from the global government, which is in power now, because they took my father down. And that's for real. I've researched it. When I found out about my kidnapping, I ran in a political campaign in '83 to replace Congressman Dr. Larry McDonald from Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta. I had written about him in a medical malpractice book, and he got involved with FBI letter to me from U.S. Attorney Harper, ongoing investigation, national security involved. So then I'm flown out to Mr. Flint's, and I know some of this is redundant if you've watched the video before, but bear with me here. Others may not have seen and they don't know what I'm speaking of. So anyway, I've done the book, and I was almost killed. Got a letter from the FBI and almost killed again, April Fool Day of '80. I ended up back in Huntsville, Alabama, taken there illegally. I was given the name of a twin when I was brought to Moulton at age 2, kidnapped from Buckingham Palace. And both twins had been killed. They had been born out of wedlock, but I have to use her name. They took my name. Now then, the Illuminati took down my father, but with character assassination. And in 37, they installed George VI, Uncle Elizabeth's father, and that's an illegal lineage. And they actually work and were written up as one of the top people in the Illuminati, wealthy and all that. Well, they stole it. She stole it. They took what's my father's and mine, and it's our job to do, not hers. They should be locked up. They're war criminals. They're illegal. They're fake monarchy. Anyway, there was papers drawn up by my father that stated the minute I was born that I'm heir to the crown. I'm Victoria II, Queen Victoria II. So now they had to get rid of me, because this brought my father back as my guardian and power of attorney. So JFK's father was appointed for that very reason by Roosevelt. He's a Jew, JFK. Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers that control your bank and are Jewish, etc., etc. So now JFK's father had been appointed for the reason of taking down my father. They couldn't control him. My father, a very honorable man. You better believe I don't like what I found out, and it's still going on. Elizabeth has never once or anyone stepped up to the plate and said, hey, told the truth about it, that Wallace Simpson married a double. My father was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, Windsor. And by the way, as far as I can see, most photos of my mom have been destroyed because they had to get rid of any about me being born or anything, and my mom and dad, because he was supposed to marry Wallace Simpson. Total lie. Now I want to get to this part, though. Put up a lot of videos and everything, and I keep going back to, I started doing the book. I'd worked for doctors, but I knew that murders were being done, and they were done in patterns. And I started doing the book in '76, and there was well, okay, let me get to this. It involves the Tesla files that were stolen. And it's not just this segment that I was writing about. It gets into what I'm going to say next. The Tesla files that I was writing about, I found out how murders were being done. You can create an illness or cure it. It's in programming people, and and this becomes biblical. I didn't know that. I had no idea. It's like putting chips in people's, in their root canal is the place that's a good one they use, and they can seal it. and you're going to go tell a dentist, even if you knew you'd been programmed or had a chip put in there, that you wanted out, they just call you crazy. This has nothing to do with crazy. And all these shootings that are going on, that they put on TV are done in patterns now. That makes you wonder right there, since they've deleted me from history and my dad, and they've lied about him. And here's Meghan Markle marrying Harry, and I mean, it's total fiasco. There are cameras all over the place. So I'm going to leave that at that. Because Megan, as far as I know, has not committed any crimes. I'm not sure the whole wedding thing's not staged. If you ever hear the truth about me and what's been done to my children, my mom and dad and country. And I wanted to get to this, back to this though. Robin Williams was one of them, Mark from Mark Emotions. He was one that was supposed to have committed suicide. Well, they made it appear it's not suicide, it's murder by mind control, just like the shooters. This is just one example because I want to tell the rest of this. Virginia Tech, next door to me in Blacksburg, Virginia. I'm in Roanoke, Salem. There was a young student there that was from South Korea, and he took a gun in and shot 32 and killed them. And if you knew the names that were put there, just like in the Grand Theater, you can see where people were brought together. They had to be under hypnotic suggestion and had a seal in them. Well, not a seal, a chip in it, you know. If in their root canal it's sealed, they put them any part of the body, I understand. So if you they've made it so that they like to pretend it's mental illness, like James Holmes of the Grand Theater. Again, if you get that together and show some of the names and how it connects of the people shot, it means you can bring people together in one spot and they're not even aware that they've been programmed to be there. Okay, James Holmes was put in a mental hospital and treated for mental illness, which he's not. Where are all your psychiatrists and dentists and all this, and your civil rights advocate? You talk about civil rights when you can program a person, take away their will. And Scott Peterson was programmed, or that's done in patterns. He's on death row. A lot of people are in prison for life, and I'm going to stop there because I put this up and I want to get to this. Okay, the Tesla files. It involved a lot more than that. Programming people, you can cure illness. So all this thing on cancer research and all this and charity is a bunch of baloney. It's gone to create more illnesses and take Ebola and AIDS to South Africa and give it to them, because this was to tear down the British Empire. Well, you got the Queen of England sitting over here. I've been through hell, and my sons, who heirs after me. And yes, part of the people that lived in the UK they're Jewish. Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bilderbergers, President Roosevelt, and his whole family. It's a horror story what they've done. Anyway, let me get to this. The Tesla files is what I was writing about. And they were stolen in 30. And I tell you who stole them, the Illuminati did. But then it says if you get into, in one of the YouTubes I saw meant a lot to me. I mean, I made sense out of it. I really did. It was a short one. I wish I'd put it down. Anyway, you've got, that was stolen, and supposedly John George, I believe is his middle name, Trump, was a professor at MIT, and he was supposed to have stolen the Tesla files. Now then, you fast forward, I'm writing about this, and the book that never got published, and I ended up getting in the campaign in Hustler magazine because Larry Flint had been shot by a program shooter in Lawrenceville, Georgia, near Marietta, where I was doing the book. So he endorsed me and did a very nice endorsement in April of '84. And since then, It's been rough living. I haven't spoken with him since, and I've really lived a horrible life all my life. And I found out about my kidnapping right after then, too. But I've been told, and I look back now, and I remember being brought up, kidnapped actually, and brought over here to Moulton, Alabama, where they placed me. I remember what went on. And now then, there's only one that come out and confirm what I was saying, because they would face the death penalty. There's just really one left alive of the sisters. They're all dead, Lana, mother of the twins, now before this goes off. So it's quite odd that now Trump is president, and I'm writing about the Tesla files, and his uncle was supposed to have been one that stole them. And then the FBI was supposed to have gotten them. Now then, you find out that now I've been made aware that there's a video, and I don't have the name of it. Someone sent it to me, so I don't know how you look it up. You put in mind control, and I don't know. But anyway, the files that were stolen are like, this man may have been brilliant, but it had to have been made, I don't know, given to him somehow from somebody above, so to speak. It was about if I remember right, the Philadelphia experiment, but it gets into things that are so far out. This video I was just made aware of, and I watched part of it, and it was small print, and I couldn't see the rest. I got a small phone. I got an Aaron phone, if anybody wants to make something of that. Anyway, I try to laugh at things. Anyway, in this video, it's telling about the Tesla files that were stolen, this part of them. It goes way back, and I don't know how you look it up, but I'm sure you can find it. And I believe it, because I've lived in Huntsville and worked for the district attorney, and I lived there in NASA's there. It came there. The space industry, after they kidnapped me and put me in Moulton, and when I was finishing high school, actually, is when they opened it up there. And they brought over one of Braun, a beautiful man. Ransom takes all forms, So anyway, in this video, it's telling about what, now I'm going to forget what it was. For goodness sake, I was trying to do something else and I've lost it. It's a copper, what do they call it, in there that Tesla had. And it's a coil, a copper coil. And I don't know the ins and outs, you'd have to look at it. But I believe it. It goes back years and years ago, before, it sounded like to me before we are talking about history a bit. Like there's been another civilization here. But anyway, it's talking about, and it was showing the pictures and all this, and how beautiful. And it was in Germany. It was taken like Germany. And I'm a little confused about that, but I'm not confused about the other. I know the Tesla files were stolen. I know all this is true, what I've said. And how you going to explain to some parents? They may not like what I'm saying and wouldn't believe it. But if this is ever told and their child died of cancer and could have been saved, what are you going to, the media, tell the people that suppressed it and really made my life hell? But back to this. Anyway, you can look it up. This is what the Tesla file had in it also, about the coil he created, and you put it in the buildings, the coils, and it radiates or does something. It makes people feel happy, and they can live to be 300 years old. They grow a little taller, I think it said, makes them sleep good at night. There's no illness. And there's not a thing is illness. So that would go along with what I've been talking about. You can create an illness or cure it. So anyway, I thought I'd put that up. Someone shared it with me just a bit ago. It's just my phone's too small for me to read it. And I don't know how you look it up. Tesla files stolen and copper coil, and you might find it, but it's worth watching.